Well, US correspondent Jane Cowan is in Denver and she joins us now.
They are really struggling to get their heads around what has happened, and beneath this sense of loss is a creeping feeling of anger at the shooter. How could he have turned a place as safe and normal as a movie theatre into the scene of so much horror?
I think our culture is just too violent. I mean, there's too many images. I've got a grandchild who doesn't know gentle.
While the broader debate lurches from guns to mental health to a culture of violence in the movies and video games, people here in Newtown at least are grateful the president might finally be ready to push tighter controls on weapons like the semi-automatic rifle that was used on their children.
Southside niggas to the left of me, Southside niggas to the right of me, I'm a Southside nigga to the left of me.
It's the murder capital right here, baby of the world.
When you see scenes like this on the streets of Barack Obama's hometown, you have to wonder whether the first black president's been able to do much for the African American community. California's preparing to launch America's biggest carbon market. The world's largest economy and second largest emitter of greenhouse gases still has no national plan to deal with the problem.
Opportunity looms large.
Meet the man who could be about to shake up the presidential race.
Texas! Texas!
Rick Perry's been described as twice the cowboy George W. Bush was. But the question is, are Americans ready to contemplate sending another swaggering Texan to the White House? It's a tall order, though, for Mitt Romney to best Barack Obama on foreign policy, isn't it, when he can point to so many achievements like the raid that killed Osama bin Laden?
Name another one.
Ending the war in Iraq, which was a campaign promise.
Unraveling. Al-Qaeda is on making a strong comeback, and Iraq is unraveling. And in fact, Iraq is a failure.
What is your point for nuclear?
You want to name another one?
Well, the strain is starting to show in Warburton, where I spent the day. People have now left their homes and returned to them multiple times. At the moment, the fire's burning in the bush behind me, but even in the 15 minutes I've been on the ground, the wind has picked up, and all it would take is a fallen log or some embers, and the fire could be 50 metres over here on the house. There are people armed only with buckets, expecting to defend overgrown houses. Do you worry that you haven't got enough to protect the house?
Oh, well, I suppose.
The Commission also heard that in 2 cases where power lines are thought to have started fires on Black Saturday, the parts of the network that allegedly failed were constructed in the 60s, making them almost 50 years old. There's an undeniable loss of confidence in the CFA under the leadership of Fire Chief Russell Rees. In the wake of an embarrassing array of failures, does the CFA need a change of leader to get a fresh start?
Well, again, I've made my views clear. I've been asked about them. I've been consistent about that. So that's the view I've got. Obviously, we'll see what the Royal Commission says.
Bernard Teague gave just one interview, and it was to the ABC's Jane Cowan.
You've said that you're now more of a wait-and-see person than you were at the start of this process, but if Black Saturday has shown anything, it's that waiting to see was a pretty fast way to get into trouble. So
it's the qualification that I made that's very important.
People who've been involved in this inquiry are asking, well, if you're going to consult now for just 2 or 3 weeks, what have we spent the last 18 months doing? Do you take any responsibility for the mess that this has become?
Not at all. The alarm bell has been sounded on an ongoing basis with due respect, both in relation to
without
all the venues.
Effect, though.
I beg your pardon?
Without effect.
Well, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink it.
It's a public relations disaster for a city trying to make international athletes feel welcome. It's perhaps a measure of the security environment here in India that a day after the shooting, hours even, life was very much back to normal outside the mosque. But down a narrow space between buildings, it's a different world. The sewer has become a play pit. The children are irrepressible and ordinary life goes on amid the filth. These people are angry because the river has overflowed onto the floodplain where they were living, washing away their homes. They're protesting, blocking the road and demanding the government do something about their conditions. Some among them believe it's a conspiracy to get rid of them for the Commonwealth Games.